The strange birth. The night was darker than usual, and the village slept in silence. The wind carried the sound of leaves, and somewhere in the forest an owl cried. In a small wooden house at the edge of the village, a farmer's family sat around a weak fire. The father mended an old shoe. The mother stirred a pot of soup, and their young son, barely 10 years old, stared out the window. He felt something calling to him. He did not know why, but his heart pulled toward the trees. His father shouted his name, telling him to sit still, but the boy kept looking outside. The forest looked alive tonight, like it was waiting for him. Suddenly, a sound broke the silence. It was not thunder, it was not an animal cry. It was something different, like a sharp crack. The boy jumped to his feet and ran to the door. His parents called after him, but he ignored them. His legs moved on their own, carrying him into the cold night. The forest greeted him with shadows. The air smelled strange, full of smoke and earth. He followed the sound until he reached a clearing. At the center of the clearing lay something glowing. It was round, large as a pumpkin, covered in strange silver lines that pulsed like veins. It was an egg. The boy froze, his heart beat so fast he thought it might burst. He took one step closer, and the egg shifted. A faint cry came from inside. Not like a bird, not like any animal he knew. It sounded almost human, weak and desperate. He knelt beside the egg. His hand shook, but he reached out and touched the glowing shell. The moment his skin met the surface, a crack spread across it. The egg trembled, light poured out, and the boy gasped. The shell broke apart, piece by piece, until a small creature pushed its way out. Wet wings clung to its back, tiny claws scraped against the ground, and smoke rose from its nostrils. The boy's eyes widened. He knew what it was. His village told old stories of beasts that lived in the mountains, creatures of fire and sky. It was a dragon. But something was wrong. Dragons were said to be fierce, terrible, and full of rage. This one was small, weak, and shaking. It lifted its head and looked straight at the boy. Its eyes were not wild like an animal's. They were soft, wide, and almost human. The boy tried to step back, but his feet would not move. The dragon crawled closer, leaving bits of eggshell behind. It stopped in front of him and tilted its head. Then, in a broken voice, it tried to copy the sound it had heard in the boy's house. "Be rather." The boy's breath caught, his chest tightened. He shook his head. "No, you are not human," he whispered, but the dragon only blinked and repeated the word, "Brother." At that moment, the boy felt a sudden warmth on his arm. He looked down. A faint mark glowed on his skin, a circle of light that pulsed in rhythm with the dragon's breathing. The creature's chest glowed in the same way. They were linked, bonded by something he could not understand. The boy's parents arrived, running into the clearing with fear on their faces. The father raised a stick, ready to strike the small beast, but the boy stood in front of it, spreading his arms wide. "Don't hurt him," the boy cried. "He is not dangerous." The father shouted, "It's a monster. It will kill us all." But the boy's eyes burned with strange courage. "No," he said, "he is my brother." The mother gasped. The dragon crawled closer to the boy's feet, curling up like a small cat. Its body trembled, but its eyes never left the child's face. The glowing mark on the boy's arm shined brighter, as if the creature drew strength from his touch. That night, the family carried the dragon home, wrapped in an old blanket. The villagers must not see it, or they would bring soldiers to kill it. The father muttered about curses. The mother whispered prayers, but the boy held the dragon close, feeling its small heart beating against his chest. When they reached their home, the boy placed the dragon near the fire. The little creature tried to copy him, sitting cross-legged and staring at the flames. It sneezed, and a tiny spark shot out. The boy laughed, though his parents did not. Later, as everyone slept, the boy woke again. He felt the same strange pull as before, but this time it came from inside the house. He looked at the dragon, who was awake, staring at him with glowing eyes. "Brother," the dragon whispered again, clearer than before. The boy lay back, his heart pounding. He did not understand what was happening, but he knew one thing. Life would never be the same. Something powerful had begun this night, something that tied his fate with the strange creature forever. Outside, the forest grew quiet. The stars hid behind dark clouds. And in the distance, far above the mountains, a roar shook the sky. Another dragon had felt the birth. Another dragon was coming. The hidden secret. The small house was quiet. The fire had burned down to ash. Only the sound of soft breathing filled the room. The boy slept beside the strange little dragon, while his parents whispered in the corner. The father's face was pale, his hands trembled as he spoke. "This thing must not stay here. If the village learns, they will kill us." The mother shook her head. "He will not let it go. You saw his eyes. It is not only a beast to him. It is something more." The boy stirred in his sleep. The dragon stirred too, as if their dreams were tied together. A faint glow pulsed on the boy's arm, and the same light flickered on the dragon's chest. The parents watched in fear. Morning came. The boy opened his eyes and found the dragon sitting near the window. Its wings were still small and folded, but it tried to stand on two legs like a human. It stumbled, fell, and got back up again. The boy laughed. "You want to be like me?" The dragon looked at him and nodded. It grabbed a wooden spoon and copied the boy eating breakfast. The soup dribbled down its chin, but it smiled. The boy's parents said nothing. They only watched with worry. Days passed. The boy kept the dragon hidden. He told the villagers he was sick so no one would visit. In secret, he played with the dragon, taught it words, and listened when it tried to speak. The bond between them grew stronger. When the boy felt hungry, the dragon whined. When the boy felt pain, the dragon whimpered. One night, the boy had a strange dream. He stood in a field of fire. Flames rose around him, but he was not afraid. A deep voice echoed in his head. "Protect the child, or lose everything." He turned to see the dragon, but in the dream it was much larger, with wide wings and burning eyes. It looked both human and beast at once. The boy woke in terror. Sweat covered his face. The dragon was awake too, staring at him. Their glowing marks pulsed together. The boy whispered, "What are you?" The dragon only answered with the same word as always, "Brother." The father tried to reason with the boy. "We must take it away before soldiers come." But the boy shook his head. "He belongs with me. He is not dangerous." The father slammed the table. "It is a monster," the boy shouted back. "No, he is family." The dragon hissed at the father, smoke curling from its nostrils. But when the boy touched its head, it calmed. Its eyes softened again, showing no hate. The secret became harder to hide. The dragon grew fast. Its wings stretched wider each day. It could now climb the walls, balance on two legs, and even mimic the boy's laugh. But when the villagers passed by the house, the boy hid it under blankets or in the cellar. One evening, the boy sat with the dragon by the fire. He noticed something strange. On his arm, the glowing mark had changed shape. It now looked like a circle with small lines reaching outward. The dragon's chest had the same mark, shining softly. The boy touched the mark, and suddenly, a burst of heat filled the room. The fire in the hearth grew higher without wood. The boy gasped, pulling his hand away. The dragon tilted its head, as if it understood. That night, the mother held the boy close. "Child, you must be careful. This bond, it is not natural. It may bring danger." But the boy whispered, "He needs me. I can feel it. He is not only mine. I am his too." The parents could not understand. They feared what they saw. But for the boy, fear had changed into wonder. Every day the dragon became more human. Every night the bond grew stronger. And outside, in the deep forest, the shadows moved. A group of strangers had entered the village, soldiers dressed in dark armor. They asked questions. "Has anyone seen a strange creature?" The villagers shook their heads, but whispers spread quickly. The boy did not know yet, but his secret was already in danger. His hidden brother was no longer hidden. The world had begun to search for them. The first danger. The sun had barely risen when trouble came to the village. Hooves crushed the dirt road. Armor clanged, and a banner with the king's mark waved above the soldiers. Villagers peeked from windows, whispering in fear. Soldiers never came without reason. The boy's father watched from the doorway. His face turned pale. "They are searching," he whispered. The mother grabbed the boy's arm. "Do not let them see him." Inside the cellar, the baby dragon crouched low. Its wings twitched nervously. It felt the fear of the boy. Their marks glowed faintly, beating like two hearts. The boy whispered, "Stay quiet. Stay with me." The dragon nodded, mimicking the words, though its voice was rough. The soldiers stopped in the center of the village. Their captain, a tall man with a scar across his cheek, raised his voice. "A beast was born in these woods. The king commands us to find it. Whoever hides it will burn with it." Gasps filled the air. Villagers crossed themselves. Children cried. The captain's eyes scanned each house, sharp and cold. He pointed to the boy's home. "Search there first." The father's legs trembled. The mother's lips moved in silent prayer. The boy's heart raced. He felt the dragon's claws clutching his hand in the dark. Boots thundered on the wooden floor as soldiers entered. They overturned chairs, smashed pots, and pulled open every door. One soldier stomped toward the cellar. The boy's chest tightened. He could hear the man's steps coming closer. In the cellar's darkness, the dragon's eyes glowed faintly. Smoke slipped from its nose. The boy shook his head quickly. "No fire," he whispered. The dragon pressed closer to him, breathing heavily. The cellar door creaked open. A soldier leaned down, torchlight spilling into the shadows. He froze, hearing the faint sound of breathing. 2 breaths, not one. His hand reached for the sword at his side. The boy's fear surged. His mark burned bright. The dragon felt it and growled low. The glow spread from the boy's arm to the dragon's chest, filling the cellar with strange light. The soldier's eyes widened. "Here!" he shouted, but before he could finish, the dragon lunged. Its small body was fast, stronger than it looked. It slammed into the man's chest, knocking the torch from his hand. Flames licked across the floor. Soldiers upstairs shouted in alarm. The boy screamed, "Run!" He grabbed the dragon and pushed open the back door. They stumbled into the yard as smoke poured from the windows. Villagers screamed, pointing, "The beast! The beast!" The captain drew his sword. "Seize them!" Soldiers rushed forward. Spears glinted in the sunlight. The boy's legs shook. He could not fight them. He was only a child, but the dragon spread its wings, letting out a sharp cry that rattled the air. Its chest glowed, heat building inside. The boy felt it, like fire burning in his own lungs. A burst of flame shot out, small but fierce. The soldiers staggered back, shields raised. The villagers cried out in terror. "It breathes fire!" The boy grabbed the dragon's claw. "This way." Together they ran. Dodging between huts, soldiers chased them. But the dragon's speed surprised them. It leapt fences, knocked down carts, and sprayed sparks to block the way. At the edge of the village, the boy tripped. Soldiers closed in. The captain's sword pointed at his throat. "Monster, child of curse, you will not escape." The dragon stood over the boy, wings stretched wide. Its tiny body shook, but its eyes burned with fierce light. It hissed, smoke rising. The boy reached for its claw. Their marks glowed brighter than ever. The captain slashed his sword downward, only to be blinded by a sudden flash. The bond between boy and dragon exploded with light. A shockwave burst outward, knocking soldiers to the ground. Dust and fire filled the air. When the smoke cleared, the boy and dragon were gone. The villagers stood frozen. Soldiers groaned on the ground. The captain roared in anger. "Find them! Hunt them down!" Far from the village, the boy and dragon collapsed in the forest. Their bodies ached, but they were alive. The boy hugged the dragon tightly, tears in his eyes. "They will never stop. They will hunt us forever." The dragon pressed its head against his chest and whispered again, voice soft but steady, "Brother." The boy wiped his tears. His fear turned to steel. "If they want to take you, they must go through me." He looked at the dark forest ahead. It was no longer just home. It was the only path left. Above them, hidden in the clouds, another shadow moved. A roar echoed across the sky. Not the soldiers, not the king. Something far older had awakened. The first danger had only just begun. Escape to the mountains. The forest hid them, but not for long. Soldiers searched the ground. Dogs barked, and torches lit the night. The boy and the baby dragon crouched under thick roots of an old tree. Their breaths came fast. Their marks glowed faintly in the dark. The boy whispered, "We cannot stay here. They will find us." The dragon's golden eyes blinked. It tilted its head as if listening to something far away. Then it tugged the boy's sleeve, pulling him deeper into the woods. Hours passed. They crossed rivers, climbed hills, and hid whenever they heard the sound of men. The boy's legs ached, but whenever he wanted to stop, the dragon pressed against him, sharing its warmth. The bond gave him strength. By dawn, they reached the edge of the forest. Beyond it rose the mountains, sharp peaks cutting the sky. Snow glowed on the highest cliffs. Clouds swirled around them like giant crowns. The boy stared in fear. We cannot climb that. But the dragon flapped its wings. They were still small, but stronger than before. It leapt, flew a short distance, then crashed into the grass. The boy laughed. You cannot carry me. The dragon puffed smoke as if to say, wait and see. They began to climb. The path was steep. Rocks crumbled under their feet. Cold wind bit their skin. The boy slipped many times, but the dragon pulled him up with tiny claws. Together they struggled higher, leaving the world below. Halfway up, the boy stopped. His stomach growled. I am hungry, he whispered. The dragon blinked, sniffed the air, and bounded off. Moments later, it returned with berries and a rabbit in its mouth. The boy frowned. I cannot eat raw. The dragon tilted its head, then sneezed a small flame, roasting the meat right on the rocks. The boy's eyes widened. You learn fast. They ate together, laughing softly. For a moment, the fear of soldiers was forgotten. But danger was never far. As they climbed higher, the boy felt a shadow above them. He looked up. The sky darkened. A vast shape moved through the clouds, wings so wide they blocked the sun. The baby dragon froze. Its eyes widened in fear. Its body trembled. The boy whispered, What is it? The dragon whispered back, voice weak but clear, Dragon. The great beast circled. Its roar shook the mountains. Stones tumbled down. The boy clung to the dragon. It is searching for you. He realized. The small dragon hissed, but lowered its head, as if bowing to something greater. The huge dragon landed on a cliff above them. Its scales were black as night. Its eyes burned like fire. Smoke poured from its jaws. The boy felt its power pressing on him like a storm. He could not breathe. The old dragon spoke, voice deep as thunder. Child of flame, why do you crawl with humans? You are no brother to them. You are kin to me. The baby dragon shook its head. Its wings flapped weakly. Brother, it whispered, pointing to the boy. The great beast laughed. A foolish bond. It will destroy you both. The boy stepped forward, shaking but brave. He is not a monster. He is my family. The great dragon lowered its head, smoke curling. You speak with fire in your heart, but fire burns all. You will learn. Then, with a roar that split the air, the great beast leapt into the sky and vanished into the clouds. The boy collapsed to his knees. The baby dragon pressed close to him, whispering, Brother, safe. But they were not safe, not yet. The soldiers were still climbing the lower trails. Their shouts echoed faintly. The boy knew they would not stop. He looked at the mountain path ahead, higher and colder. We must keep going, he said. There must be a place they cannot reach. They climbed into the freezing wind. Snow cut their faces. The boy shivered, but the dragon wrapped its wings around him. Sharing warmth, step by step, they rose into the clouds. At last they found a hidden cave high above the valley. Inside, glowing crystals lit the walls. Water dripped in silence. It felt alive, safe, almost magical. The boy sank to the ground. Exhausted, the dragon curled beside him. But as the boy drifted to sleep, he heard a whisper. Not from the dragon, not from his own mind, but from the cave itself. The bond is growing, but the world is watching. Danger is not behind you only. It waits above. The boy opened his eyes, staring into the crystal light. He knew now. Their journey was not only about hiding. It was leading them to something greater, something written long before he was born. And outside, far below the mountains, the king's soldiers lit fires, waiting for dawn. The hunt was not over. It was only changing shape. Truth of the bond. The cave was quiet. Only the soft drip of water echoed through the glowing crystals. The boy and the baby dragon rested side by side, their bodies tired from the climb. But neither truly slept. The boy's mind burned with questions. and the dragon's eyes flickered with restless light. At midnight, the crystals shone brighter. The boy felt warmth spreading from the mark on his arm. The dragon stirred too. Its chest mark glowed in rhythm with his. Suddenly, the whole cave pulsed with light, as if it were alive. The boy rose slowly, his shadow stretched across the walls. A voice whispered from nowhere, deep and ancient, "The bond is not an accident. It was chosen long before you were born." The boy gasped. "Who is there?" The dragon hissed softly, pressing close to him. The voice did not answer directly. Instead, the crystals shimmered, and images formed on the walls. He saw a vision of a great war, dragons soaring in the sky, humans below fighting with fire and steel, whole villages burned, mountains cracked. The boy covered his ears, but the vision pressed on. The voice spoke again. "Once dragons and humans were enemies, but long ago one bond was made. A dragon and a child shared one soul. Together they ended the war. Together they brought peace, but peace does not last forever." The boy trembled. "Why us? Why now?" The voice replied, "Because the world is breaking again, and only a bond can heal it or destroy it." The dragon stared at the glowing walls. Its small body shook. It whispered the only word it knew best. "Brother." The boy knelt, hugging it tightly. "I will never let them take you." Before he could ask more, a roar shook the cave. Stones fell. The ground trembled. At the mouth of the cave, a vast shadow appeared. The great black dragon had returned. Its fiery eyes glowed in the dark. Smoke poured from its jaws. "You see now, child? The bond is not blessing. It is curse." It thundered. The boy stood, his legs shaking but his spirit firm. "No, it is not a curse. It is life," the old dragon snarled. "You think love can change what you are? He is not human. He will outgrow you. He will leave you behind." The baby dragon cried out. Its wings flapped. It pressed its head to the boy's chest, glowing brighter than ever. The mark on their bodies burned like fire, filling the cave with golden light. The old dragon roared, staggering back. "Impossible! The bond should be weak. He is too young. You are too small. How can you stand against me?" The boy shouted, "Because he is not alone, and I am not alone. We are one." The light grew stronger, forcing the old dragon to shield its eyes. Crystals shattered, sending sparks across the cave walls. The baby dragon's body shivered, then grew slightly. Its wings stretched wider, its claws sharpened. For the first time, its voice was clear. "I am human. I am brother." The boy's heart nearly stopped. Tears filled his eyes. "You spoke. You really spoke." The dragon smiled weakly, pressing closer to him. The old dragon growled, "Fools, do you not see? The stronger the bond, the greater the danger. The king will fear you. The armies will come. They will burn the world to tear you apart." The boy wiped his tears, his voice firm. "Let them come. We will not hide forever. We will fight." The old dragon's gaze softened for a moment, almost sorrowful. Then it spread its mighty wings. "If you walk this path, you will bring fire on all. Remember my words, brother child. Remember." With a thunderous roar, it launched into the night sky and vanished among the clouds. The cave grew silent again. Only the crackle of broken crystals remained. The boy fell to his knees, exhausted. The dragon curled beside him, whispering, "Brother, forever." The boy touched the glowing mark on his arm. His heart pounded. He finally understood. Their bond was not only friendship, it was destiny, a power that could save the world or destroy it. He looked into the darkness beyond the cave. Soldiers marched below the mountains, torches like rivers of fire. The king's shadow spread over the land. And now, the bond was no longer secret. It was a beacon calling every eye toward them. The boy whispered into the cold night, "Then let them come. We will be ready." War breaks out. The mountains shook with the sound of war. Below the cliffs, the king's soldiers marched in rows. Their torches burned like rivers of fire crawling through the dark. Horns echoed. Drums thundered. The villagers had joined them, forced to carry weapons. From the mouth of the cave, the boy watched with fear and anger. The baby dragon stood beside him, Its wings spread wider than ever before. The mark on their bodies glowed with every beat of their hearts. "They will not stop," the boy whispered. "They will burn the forest, the villages, everything until they find us." The dragon's chest rumbled. Smoke curled from its nose. Its eyes were no longer soft. They burned with fury. Yet when the boy placed a hand on its head, the fire calmed. Together, they stepped out onto the rocks. Cold wind whipped their faces. The boy raised his voice. "We cannot run anymore. If they want us, then we fight." The dragon nodded, as if it understood every word. Down below, the soldiers prepared. Bows were drawn, shields raised. The captain with the scar lifted his sword. There, the beast and its master. For the king. Arrows flew. The boy flinched, but the dragon leapt forward. Its wings beat hard, knocking the arrows aside. The bond glowed, and the boy felt the power surge through him. His fear melted into courage. "Now!" he shouted. The dragon opened its mouth. Fire burst forth, brighter than before. A wall of flame rolled down the slope, scattering soldiers. The sound of screams and clashing metal rose into the air. But this was only the beginning. A shadow fell across the battlefield. The great black dragon returned. Its wings blotted out the moon. Its roar shook the mountains. Soldiers cheered, thinking the beast was theirs, but the old dragon ignored them. Its burning eyes locked only on the boy and the baby dragon. "Fools!" it thundered. "You defy destiny. You dare fight against the world itself." The baby dragon hissed, wings trembling. The boy stepped forward, shouting into the wind. "We will not bow to you or to the king. This bond is ours. We decide what it means." The old dragon roared, swooping low. Soldiers scattered like ants as its massive body struck the ground. Dust and fire filled the air. The baby dragon stood firm, its claws digging into stone. The clash began. The old dragon's flames roared like storms. The baby dragon's fire answered, weaker but pure. The boy felt each burst in his chest, as if his own lungs breathed fire. Soldiers rushed up the mountain path. Their swords clanged. Their spears pointed at the boy. He raised his hand, and the bond glowed so fiercely that the ground itself shook. Rocks tumbled, knocking men aside. Still, more came. The battle turned into chaos. Arrows rained, fire burned. Men screamed. The boy shouted, "Hold! Don't give up!" Though his voice broke with fear. The dragon leapt into the air. Its wings carried it higher than ever before. It swooped, knocking soldiers aside. The boy clung to its back, holding tight as they soared over the battlefield. For the first time, he felt the sky, the power of flight. But the old dragon was there too, rising like a black storm. Its eyes burned with rage. It chased them through the clouds, roaring, "You cannot win. You are only a child, only a hatchling." The boy looked down. He saw villages burning, soldiers screaming, people dying in fear. His heart twisted. He shouted into the storm, "If being small is all I am, then I will still fight because he is my brother, and I will never let him go." The bond flared brighter than ever. A golden light wrapped around the boy and the dragon. Stronger than armor, stronger than steel, the old dragon was forced back, covering its eyes. But the battle below raged on. Soldiers regrouped. The captain raised his sword again. "Strike them down." Arrows whistled. Spears glinted. The boy and dragon landed hard on the rocks, surrounded. The boy's chest heaved. Sweat dripped down his face. The dragon pressed close to him, its body scorched, wings torn, its eyes still burned with fire. The boy whispered, "We cannot fight forever." The dragon whispered back, clear and steady, "Together." The soldiers closed in. The old dragon circled above. The king's army roared like thunder. And in that moment, standing side by side, the boy and his dragon knew this was no longer about hiding. It was war, a war that would decide not only their fate, but the fate of everyone. Forever brothers. The battlefield burned. Smoke curled into the sky. Soldiers shouted. Swords clashed. And fire lit the night. The boy stood with the baby dragon at his side, their glowing marks shining like stars in the darkness. The king's army pressed forward. The scar-faced captain pointed his blade. Kill them both. Arrows rained. Spears flew. The boy held the dragon's claw tight. The bond flared, and the arrows turned to ash before they touched them. But the old black dragon circled above. Its roar silenced even the battle below. You cannot escape destiny. It thundered. One bond cannot stand against a kingdom. It dove, its wings cutting the air like blades. The baby dragon stood tall, though its body shook with pain. Its wings were torn, its scales cracked, but its eyes held fire. It whispered, "Brother," and the boy felt courage surge through his chest, stronger than fear. The old dragon crashed down, fire exploding from its jaws. The boy screamed, "Now!" Together, he and the baby dragon unleashed their bond. A golden light erupted, meeting the black flames head-on. The clash shook the mountain. Rocks shattered. Soldiers stumbled. The boy's body burned with pain, but he did not let go. The dragon roared. The boy shouted with him. Their voices joined into one cry. The golden fire pushed the black flames back. Brighter, hotter, purer. The old dragon staggered, its scales cracked, its eyes wide with shock. "Impossible! No bond has been this strong in centuries," it growled. The boy stepped forward, his voice steady. "Because he is not only a dragon, he is not only a beast, he is my brother." The army froze, their weapons shook in their hands. Even the captain's face paled. The old dragon lifted its head, staring at the boy and his dragon. Its voice lowered, almost sorrowful. "If you hold this bond, you will bring both hope and ruin. You will change the world forever." It spread its wings, broken but mighty, and with a final roar, it rose into the clouds and vanished into the night. The battlefield grew quiet. The soldiers dropped their weapons. Fear and awe filled their eyes. The captain fell to his knees, unable to lift his sword again. The boy and dragon stood glowing in the smoke, unbroken. The villagers who had been forced to march stared in silence. Some began to cry, not in fear, but in wonder. They had seen fire destroy, but now they saw fire protect. The baby dragon collapsed to the ground, too weak to stand. The boy rushed to his side, holding him close. "Stay with me," he whispered. His tears fell on the dragon's scorched scales. The mark on their bodies flickered, then pulsed again, steady and strong. The dragon opened its eyes, tired but warm. Its voice was soft, clear as never before. "Forever, brother." The boy laughed through his tears, hugging the creature tightly. "Forever," he whispered back. The soldiers began to retreat, carrying their wounded. The villagers followed, whispering prayers. No one dared raise a weapon again. The boy and dragon had won. Not only the battle, but the hearts of those who saw it. As dawn rose, the battlefield lay in silence. Only smoke and broken steel remained. The boy and dragon sat on the cliff, watching the first light touch the mountains. Their bond glowed softly, no longer burning with rage, but shining with peace. The boy looked at the dragon and smiled. "The world will not understand us. They will come again. Maybe the king, maybe others." The dragon leaned against him, whispering, "Together." The boy nodded, "Yes, together, always." Far above, in the clouds, a distant roar echoed. Not of threat, but of respect. The old dragon's shadow passed once more across the sun, and then was gone. The boy and dragon watched the horizon, brothers not by blood, but by soul, their bond unbroken, their story only beginning.